Alright guys, here we go. Game number 4, World Elite vs. Tongfu. Could be the very last game of the Eastern qualifiers if Tongfu can somehow claim this game. If they could just push through and sweep the series, they're headed to Seattle. If World Elite are able to take this game, they will just get a chance to stay alive. They're on the Radiant side. They prefer to be on the Dire, but they at least have the first pick going their way. We're about to find out if that Chen is going to get banned. All eyes directly on Lao. Enchantress to start. I would not be surprised at all to see Chen to follow. Or they may be setting themselves up for a first pick of Chen. It is a hero they like to run on their own.
I think they're going to try to go for the first pick Chen here. It's a hero that World Elite have used a couple of times, and they do use it well. So I think they want to get the Chen themselves, or at least try to force Tongfu into banning it. They don't want to waste a ban on the Chen. They'd rather maybe ban out some of these other heroes, like the Brewmaster. They Winner again. They banned Winner 3 games in a row. We'll see if they ban the Night Stalker as well, but I think this is a game where it hasn't worked the last 2 games. I mean, well, it's not so much the Night Stalker ban that hasn't worked, but it's one of those things where I think they're going to have to prioritize banning out a different hero here. Darkseer, the other ban for Tongfu, as it is World Elite, with the first pick again, but this time I guess Tongfu deciding, okay, they may go for that as a first pick here. Chen, actually, there we go, ban on the Chen, so Night Stalker's still in the pool. We'll see if Tongfu want to grab that with one of their early picks here. Otherwise, it probably will be banned in that 4th or 5th spot. But Prophet, Invoker still in the pool, and I mean, personally, I'm thinking Brewmaster or Prophet as a first pick. Brewmaster is still there, and a hero that has so far not seen any play.
This is one of this Darkseer ban. It tells me that Tongfu consider him an absolute top pick because whenever they've had the first pick, they leave him available. They first picked him last game. When they don't, they ban it out. It really tells you a lot about what the teams think of the hero. Chen gets banned out here. They're maybe angling for a Prophet or an Invoker. Both of those heroes in the pool. We saw WE first pick an Invoker last game, but it didn't work out. So if they go for Invoker, they are giving away Prophet, and Tongfu definitely know how to use that hero. If they go for Prophet, of course, they might be giving away Invoker. So Tongfu is going to get something out of this. You mentioned the Brewmaster as well. Queen of Pain, of course, is in the pool. These are the heroes that we're likely to see get snatched up after this banning stage ends. It won't be that Brewmaster that World Elite have gone 7 for 8 with. They've won 7 out of 8 games with Brewmaster, but they won't have him to assist them in this game. I'm really curious what this first pick is going to be.
Yeah, probably looking, I mean, I'd say Queen of Pain or the Prophet here. They went for the Invoker last game. It was actually World Elite who had the first pick. They didn't first pick Darkseer for some reason. They went for the Invoker instead, and I think that was a bit of a mistake. Invoker, whenever first pick, when there's a lot of other strong sort of early game heroes as well as pushing heroes in, I've never seen it really pay off as a first pick just because of how ineffective in the early game it is. So I'd much rather see either Prophet being first picked or even the Queen of Pain. I think Queen of Pain is a pretty good hero, especially for dealing with the Prophet. And they're going to go with the Prophet, a hero that last game in game number 1 got last picked. So first pick it is now, and they give up Invoker and Queen of Pain. So I'm okay with this trade, but it's going to hurt them.
Yeah, that will most likely be a Mu Invoker. He is normally the Invoker player for Tongfu. It is one of his core heroes, one of his most comfortable heroes. And now with Queen of Pain, I expect that to be a farming Queen of Pain, most likely played by Hao. So they've got their 2 #1 farmers on the team already. Not amazing late game, but still very decent late game. Invoker and Queen of Pain do scale pretty well, especially for intelligence heroes. We'll have to see where they go from here. They're not going to be able to get their hands on a Chen. Earthshaker is available. Morphling is available. WE went with a lot of those heroes in game number 1. It wasn't quite enough. Also, DK is on the board. So these are just some of the heroes that I'm thinking we might see either of these teams go for. Bounty Hunter has not been seen in this series, but if they want to go that route, he's a decent hero to have with heroes like Invoker and Queen of Pain, buffing up their gold bonus as well with that track and improving their incomes. Also nice against the Prophet because you can sort of appear out of nowhere, really punish him for farming off on his own, but very defensive second pick. That'll be the Earthshaker.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised by this at all. And it's one of those things. I think the only other option this game for World Elite was go for the first pick, Queen of Pain, give up the Prophet and Invoker, then get the Earthshaker. Either way, they wanted to get their hands on the Earthshaker. Their 3rd pick now. We'll see if they want to just go for a support hero, pick up the Crystal Maiden or the Venomancer, something along those lines here. There's the Crystal Maiden, so they're going to sort of keep their cards close to their chest, not revealing what they're going to do with their carry and semi-carries. They've got the Prophet, a likely side lane solo. It can always go towards that middle lane, but generally you will see it going into that top or bottom lane, depending on whether or not they want it as a suicide solo or in a 1v1 matchup. Tongfu with their 3rd pick, we'll see what they want to do here. They could pick up that DK, which is a hero they have done well with, or even a Beastmaster. I mean, Queen of Pain could go into one of the side lanes, same with Invoker. We'll see what they want to do here. They don't really have a suicide solo, though, so maybe going to be reluctant to pick up either of those 2 heroes.
Yeah, Beastmaster, I think it works here. It gives you a lot of anti-push against the Prophet. It gives you that amazing initiation with Roar, and Roar was just such a game-breaking skill to have in their arsenal in game number 1. I really think the Beastmaster was probably the MVP of that game, even though Dragonite was doing most of the damage. The Chen helped out, but he didn't have a great start that time around. It's going to be a Sand King. So a lot of anti-push here, a lot of gank potential, a lot of burst damage for Tongfu, and some really strong team fight. Now, this is a hero that needs farm. And we'll have to see, are Tongfu going to play it as that 4 position? You've said in the past yourself, you don't mind Sandkid as a secondary support, but you dislike him as a primary, and I'm completely on board with that. Sandkid is definitely, even if he's a support here, he needs items, he needs farm. You want to get those Arcane Boots, maybe work towards an Urn, possibly a Blink Dagger at some point in the mid-game. So we'll have to see how are Tongfu going to play this.
Yeah, and I think it's most likely going to be in that position there. And Sand King's a really nice hero to have against Prophet. It's just good at dealing with his split pushes, good at ganking him as well, because you have got the Burrow Strike. You can go through Sprout if he tries to use the Sprout TP trick. It's just an all-around useful hero to stop a Prophet with, even ganking him early on in lane. The second round around the bans, I mean, Anti-Mage and Morphling still in the pool, neither's being picked up yet, and the Radiant team especially don't really have much to deal with either of those heroes being picked up. If there's an Anti-Mage or a Morphling in the hands of Tongfu, well, really, there's not much World Elite can throw at one of those heroes. All they could do is pick up a hard carry of their own. And for now, they're just going to ban out a support hero, though, but it looks like we may be seeing an Anti-Mage or Morphling taking part here. I've got to say, both these teams are probably eyeing off those two heroes.
Well, crucially, they do have the first pick, so if WE bans one, they could potentially secure the other for themselves, although I'm guessing if Tongfu see WE ban one, they're going to ban out the other, so it's unlikely either will make it through. Still, there's also a DK on the board, and Tongfu, if they want to run the Sandkid as a support, they have a little bit of room. Now, DK's not going to get a ton of farm, most likely, but again, he's a hero that doesn't need it. Even if you just get some power treads, maybe a Vitality Booster, work towards a pipe as early as possible, that's an option. And the Slardar ban, this is a hero that Aeon really struggled against. That Slardar gives you so much initiation power. Sand King is complete food for him if you can get a Slithering Crush and the amplified damage off, really buffing up your physical attack. It's a hero that W is very successful with. Now, Anti-Mage is in the pool, but W, this might be a change of pace for them. They look to be going for a little bit more push power with this Leshrac, and it's something they struggled with the Leshrac against Aeon in game number 1. It was a solo farming Leshrac in the suicide lane, or in the safe lane rather, and he got ganked a lot by Prophet. Now, it doesn't look like that'll be an issue for them because there's no Prophet on the board. I'm very curious where this Leshrac will be laning and what they're going to do for their final pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking at either a solo mid Leshrac or a safe lane one here. They can run dual lanes if they want with ES Leshrac and then CM with another hero, some kind of carry or semi-carry. They can. It really depends how they want to do it. If they want to win both middle and bottom lane, they could send someone like CM plus carry mid and then ES and Leshrac at bottom. But two of those likely heroes to lane with the CM, the Slardar and the Morphling, have been banned. So I do like those two bans here. It looks like they're almost tempting Tongfu, saying, you guys pick Anti-Mage, we're going to pick up a lot of early to mid-game aggression and really just punish any sort of Anti-Mage shenanigans that Tongfu might want to go with. So we'll see what Hao's going to be playing. This could be the game where he goes for that Queen of Pain, as, I mean, none of these heroes really shaped up to go to that bottom lane. That's ultimately going to be the problem for Tongfu. If they send a Suicide Solo up against a dual lane, that's a lane they're going to lose. Not to mention middle lane they're likely to lose if it's going to be a dual lane. Lich, though, that's a hero that can make sure you do not lose that hard lane too badly. And, wow, World Elite taking a page from Myth Trust as well as Aeon, a hero that's defeated them on numerous occasions. It's going to be the Clinks and the Bounty Hunter in return. Tongfu, no hesitations. What are we making of this, LD?
I like I really do like this Clinks pick. It's such a nice hero to have against pretty much everyone on Tongfu's lineup. Maybe not quite as much the Bounty Hunter, but all the other 4 squishy casting-oriented heroes. It is going to be a support Sand King, so he's going to be a bit squishy. And that Quick Orchid, the Fire Arrows, gives you a lot of ability to pick off these intelligence heroes. Now, that being said, he also offers you some split push potential, especially coupled with the Leshrac as well as the Prophet. Clinks and Prophet can be best friends all over the map, setting up ganks, pushing out towers. Now, they get their Bounty Hunter. And this is a hero that Sangsheng really knows how to play effectively, and it will be a Sangsheng Bounty Hunter. He will be headed down to the off lane. Having the Lich here could be very useful as well. I'm not sure where he'll be laning. He could be looking to do some denying in any of these 3 lanes, but most likely see him at least start off bottom to help keep the lane pulled back just a touch, keep that Bounty Hunter getting levels. Now, while we see Bounty Hunter played by these Chinese teams, oftentimes he doesn't have a good time in the lane, and this game in particular, whether he's up against the Clinks or if he's up against some sort of a dual or tri-lane, they could send the Clinks mid, they could send him to the safe lane. I'm guessing this will be Will this be a mid Clinks? I think it might. I think it might be a mid Clinks.
Oh, I'd be surprised if Clinks was mid, but not. I mean, not completely mind blowing. I'm going to have to see what. Depends where they want to put the. I mean, it's either Leshrac or Clinks at mid. They may just want to have Clinks at mid, have the two supports, or even split up the supports. ES can roam around with just CM and Clinks at bottom lane. I think the safer lane for Clinks to be is the bottom lane. The only concern is going to be that Lich sacrifice, which will deny a lot of Clinks' farm. But Clinks, we'll see what they want to do. Clinks at mid against Invoker is not the best matchup for Clinks, I got to say. I mean, Invoker can trade hits, use that cold snap to harass at those early levels. And basically, Clinks will have to have a lot of HP regen early on. You're not really a hero that's going to get a bowl as well. I think Leshrac is better off in the mid lane with Clinks at bottom. ES can help out mid while the CM just wins that bottom lane with the Clinks. I mean, CM Clinks up against what looks to be a Lich Bounty Hunter lane at bottom. At least Lich, I imagine, will be bottom to start things off. And I imagine we'll probably just stay bottom because we'll see Sand King and Queen of Pain in the top lane with Sand King focusing on shutting down the Prophet early on and then maybe even doing some roaming of his own, or specifically probably just some creep balls to get XP and farm himself. That's how Sand King gets some levels. So I think both teams have their options to have both teams have solid drafts. I mean, especially Tong Fu, who can get levels and farm on Sand King in the jungle. Lich will be effective. I mean, you say Bounty Hunter will have a hard time at bottom lane, but Lich Sacrifice is the perfect hero and skill just to make sure he doesn't get too badly slaughtered in bottom lane.
It is. But there's a Prophet on the board, as well as Leshrac, who, if he's bottom lane, even if it's the Clinks, it's going to be a lot of push power between the two of those. If Prophet is able to TP and set up a gank to start, and you'll often see Prophets getting early Sentry Wards, early Dust, or Crystal Maiden could be the one to pick that up. And then, even if they don't get a kill, they can still apply a lot of pressure to that bottom tower, especially with Lich denying creeps. That is going to make the tower push a bit harder. But you're right, Bounty Hunter should get some decent levels, and he doesn't need to hit level 6 in the bottom lane. I can't stress this enough. Tong Fu, Ehome, a lot of these Chinese teams, when they run Bounty Hunter, even at level 3 or 4, he'll go rotate mid, go for a gank. And that's where having a Leshrac mid, he is just so squishy, no escape mechanism. That's a kill that they can look to get, especially if Sand King shows up, maybe off of a smoke gank, or Queen of Pain with the rune. Exhort Invoker can easily burst down that Leshrac if he gets any kind of backup. Even if it's Wex Invoker, it should be enough. So if they send Leshrac mid, I mean, you're right, Clinks is going to be a little less safe there, but he's going to have a better time if he gets ganked than Leshrac, who has just absolutely no escape mechanism. One of the easiest heroes to gank in the game. Both teams have their options, and ultimately that's the main point to make here. You're right, there's a lot of flexibility with how they want to lane this. If they really wanted to, they could maybe even throw an offensive tri-lane up top with the Leshrac, the Earthshaker, the CM. You could put Prophet and Clinks in the other two lanes. It's the least likely of the options, but hey, that's just goes to show you how many options there really are for both of these teams.
Speaking, I mean, not so much in terms of options, but I mean, this to me is a World Elite somewhat confused and shattered. It's actually the captain, Xiao Luo, playing the Clinks. He's been playing the support all tournament long, and here he is in this potentially final match for them in the tournament. He's taking the hard carry, the Clinks. That kind of goes to show that World Elite are trying to switch things up. I mean, maybe Clinks was a pick they weren't really intending on picking here, and maybe their carry play isn't all that. I think Fanti normally plays their carries, isn't that confident in playing it. So, or maybe Xiao Lu just said, guys, this isn't working. I'm going to be playing the hard carry. But that is a big shock to me, and that's something, a last-minute change, which, I mean, maybe it's what they need. Maybe it's something that their captain taking on that responsibility could turn things around. But definitely, that is a bit of a shock for me.
Wow, I didn't even notice that. You're completely right. That is very unusual. I wonder... It also makes you sort of rethink the lanes again. I mean, Clinks is the hard carry on this team. He has the most potential for raw damage output, even later on to the game and even in the early stages. So I can't imagine it would be anything except for a one-position Clinks. It just doesn't really fit with these heroes. And Clinks is going to be the one that sets up their ganks because the fast Orchid is the way to lock down heroes like Queen of Pain, Invoker, Sand King. Heck, even the Lich and the Bounty Hunter, the Silence can be very helpful. So I can't see it being anything but a hard carry, and that means it is. Like you said, they're shaken. Their confidence is a little bit shattered, especially after that game one where it looked like everything was more or less going as they needed it to, and they still didn't have what it took to bring home the win. And especially game two, they just got completely rolled. This is a very big deviation. We'll have to see. I mean, maybe this is the change that they need to hear. Sometimes, like in real, like for example, if anybody here is a fan of I don't know, soccer, baseball, any kind of real sport, you will see these kinds of position switches, substitutions. If your team's falling behind, at some point you replace the players. In this case, if you're not going to replace the players, you change up the roles they're performing. It has potential to either boom or bust, but this is a deciding game three. It's it's a crucial time for them. So it tells you that they're willing to take risks. And this is a team that doesn't like to take risks, so they're desperate, I guess. They're desperate.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know, not so much
Well,
desperate in some ways, but also it's also there's nothing to lose. More importantly, I mean, they're down 2-0. I mean, it's a best of 5. They've got to turn around somehow. They've just got to try something to make it work. I mean, if they lose this game, well, at least they say they tried something new. They didn't just sort of resort to their old plans. And if they win this with Xiaolu on carry, that's a big confidence boost, and that shows that they can be innovative, pull something out of the hand, make it work, and they're not just as they don't have to always stick to their game plan to win, and that they can beat a team like Tongfu. So I think if it works, it'll give them a big boost of confidence going to Game 4, whereas if Game 3 it was a close game in typical style that they ended up narrowly winning, well, then they go into Game 4 thinking, okay, we can win, but this kind of thing will give them a big boost to their confidence if it does work out. But with that said, it's a big risk. Go hard or go home, and we're going to see just how they want to lane this. I think that's the key thing. Is Clinkz or Leshrac going to go to that mid lane? It looks like it is going to be Clinkz, in fact, because Leshrac has gone for an early ring of protection, and it's maybe a trial lane top, in fact, with Prophet at the bottom lane.
Ooh, this
is interesting. We're going to see... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Prophet against Bounty Hunter at bottom lane, I suspect, and they're just going to go trial lane versus trial lane at top.
Wow, it's going to be an offensive tri-lane. Now, this tri-lane, it has a lot of offensive firepower. They have Earthshaker for some defensive capabilities, but, and this is a big but, Crystal Maiden and Leshrac as the two extremely squishy intelligence heroes. If a fight goes south for this tri-lane, they're probably going to lose 2, if not 3, right off the bat. Sentry Ward placed just to try and scout out any sort of lane wards and give them a little bit of sight. GG will be looking to, I guess, get the first crack here at seeing what Tongfu's brought top. And for Tongfu, how are they going to lane it? Looks like he will be farming up top. Sangchain could be going to the off lane. Mu maybe looking to go solo mid. It's not really clear because there's no bottle rush on any of these heroes, and with an Invoker you normally don't see that. So that throws a bit of a wrench into the lane predictions. It's going to be Lao in the safe lane and a Prophet mid. Prophet is a very powerful mid. Although he doesn't have amazing lane control, and we saw in the West qualifiers, Korok actually just destroyed an enemy Prophet as a Queen of Pain. But what you get is fast levels from that Prophet. You can max out your teleport first if you want to and go for a lot of early ganks. You can TP to runes to control the runes even if a mobile hero is there. You also have this Clinkz who's very mobile, and he can look to help scout out the bottom rune here and there if he needs to, especially if the lane gets pushed. Still, this tri-lane is very squishy top, and that's really the main thing that I'm noting. Is if anything goes wrong for them, they're going to be in a world of trouble.
Yeah, even in a trial lane versus dual lane, they're actually getting an early D-ward. Nice sentry placement there, expecting where Tongfu would put their observer ward, D-warding it immediately. And yeah, I mean, if they get stunned when they sort of overextend, I mean, Queen of Pain can always blink out, and that's a position where they can get punished. Clinkz at bottom lane will struggle a little bit because of this Lich sacrifice, but ultimately he should get some farm, should get some decent last hits
look at what he's
because
doing.
of that Searing Arrow. Oh, using his illusion rune. That is smart. That is clever. And that's going to pull the weight back. That's how you stop that Lich. And that's a very nice rune to get level 1. As it's actually, look at this, Bounty Hunter harassing him out of lane while Lich gets the last hits. I mean, mostly it'll be Bounty Hunter getting last hits, but whenever Bounty Hunter goes to harass, Lich will say, okay, I'll just take some farm here just so that Lich can maybe get up a few items here or there, get that mech up a bit later on for his team. But Clinkz just using that creep pull, the only place where he can really safely farm at the moment.
Oh, it's going to be a double pull by Lao. This is such great play to start the pull with the illusions. Now he's going to go to the lane to farm, and in fact the enemy may be getting some of this pull up, but that's okay. The point is to keep the lane pulled back to his tower. Even if they're able to farm these neutral creeps, the crucial thing is that Lao is in a safe position because Bounty Hunter and Lich have a lot of potential. Look how much damage Hao is taking. He's in a bit of trouble here. He does have a blink in 4 seconds. The Fissure cooling down in 3. Actually, they're going to happen about the same time. Will Hao be forced to blink out? He does. And that means that this creep wave is going to be deep in enemy territory. With the Leshrac tri-lane, one of the big bonuses is that you have that Edict to work with. You can really punish the tower, and Leshrac has gone for the early ring of protection. It tells you they want to be pushing. Maybe they're not as concerned with kills. They want to get this tower down as soon as possible. Edict will be very helpful. Prophet can also TP in, look to set up ganks. He's gotten a single point in each skill. I'm curious, will he be maxing the Treants? Will he be maxing the teleport? You can see it go either way. If he goes for Treants, he wants to push more. If he goes for teleport, he wants to gank more. We're going to find out soon. Queen of Pain, Binky behind the tower, is in a lot of trouble, and Hao is having one of the worst starts I've seen on him, especially on Queen of Pain. He's gotten a single CS, he's gotten level 3, but he has just got to be very fearful for his life.
Yeah, and Clinkz continue this creep pull at bottom lane. I mean, the problem is always going to be Bounty Hunter can go pressure him while creep pulling, while Lich just stays in lane getting farmed. The beauty of having a dual lane versus a solo Clinkz to this bottom lane is that one hero can always be in the lane while one hero goes and harasses the Clinkz. Bounty Hunter has plenty of survivability to do that alone, but still, Clinkz getting some farm, getting some CS, actually on 13 CS. I mean, that's got to be one of the highest in the game almost. He hasn't really been pressured all too much. Mid lane. Oh, wow. Mid lane, I mean, you've got, wow, Invoker not lasting all that well, only on 6 CS, so Prophet using, this is what I love when Prophets do, use those streams to last here, and CM at top lane, they get how? Must have been caught a bit out of position there.
Yeah, didn't actually catch that one myself either, but it looks like it was a fissure. I don't see a Split Earth cooldown. They might have used that as well. And Frostbite was not cooldown, so I think that Queen of Pain was just very low, and a couple of nukes was all it took. She is very squishy. That is a crucial first blood here for WE, because with this offensive tri-lane, you have to get some early kills. You're going to be a bit behind in experience, all else being equal when the enemy is doing some pulls, as well as having that Lich denying bottom, and the Sangcheng farming your jungle creeps. Looks like a salve was popped by Lao, but he is getting good farm. He's got the boots of speed, and in fact, maybe looking to do a little offensive harassment here on Awoke. He's not going to go for a kill, but he wants to drive that Lich out of the lane. Bounty Hunter scouted out the pull. He's not going to find it. So Sangcheng wasting a bit of time here. After that first blood, it is almost 1,000 gold lead. Or actually, I guess it's about 750, but still a nice start for WE. They're out farming Tongfu in the early game, and they're getting a bit of extra experience as well.
Yeah, and we'll see when this Prophet looks to start getting involved, start getting some ganks. I mean, bottom lane is definitely a possibility. A TPN can definitely punish this Lich if Lich is being too aggressive with the harass, which is partly while, at the moment, it's Bounty Hunter doing most of the harassing while Lich sort of sits back, gets some last hits. I mean, Lich Awoke has 11 last hits as sort of a support hero. They're both sitting on 11. They're really splitting the farm here. And that just goes to show that's how the Chinese will play. They'll be as efficient as possible. If giving Lich early farm is the more efficient option, they will do that. And they're giving Awoke some nice items to get things started off as Bounty Hunter once again looking for Clinkz, looking to put on some pressure, looking to harass. And that's not a hero that Prophet can gank, which is why that's the main reason why it's Sangcheng, not the Lich coming to harass, because Lich will just get ganked by this Prophet.
Yeah, he is taking a lot of damage here, but he does have his healing cell as well as a Tango available. The nuke comes out onto Lao, and look how squishy this Clinkz is. Almost half of his health gone immediately to a single right click as well as a Nova. Clinkz trying the last hit here, but indeed it's the Janata that picks that one up. Leshrac has secured himself a pair of boots as well as the Reign of Basilius. I would expect to see a lot of pressure towards this tower. Edict to be popped momentarily. No, he does have a single point in Edict. This is... I have to say, I'm surprised by this build. I mean, they did get a single kill in Hal, so that's a good start. Frostbite as well. Will we see the Split Earth? No, the Blink away. An interesting direction for Hal to go, but he's caught up next to Chan. Leshrac just one nuke from the Lich. Here's Awoke, and it looks like Chan may have just overextended. Blink cooling down in 2 seconds. Chan will go down to the final right click from the Lich, and Hal really needed that gank. And Bounty Hunter will be fine on the bottom lane, so it's not like they're really suffering. Another kill. Crystal Maiden gets caught out, and there's that squishy tri-lane. If they are on the back foot, they can be wiped. 3 kills going the way of Tongfu. That turned the tri-lane right back around.
Oh man, Sank and Kabu got a double stun on those 2 support heroes in the jungle there and just set it all up. And Awoke just on point. I mean, he came in for that counter gank with the TP, so really smart play from Tongfu, turning around this sort of early game deficit that they were giving World Elite. World Elite leading on farm as well as on getting that first blood, but Tongfu turn it around just so damn easily. As we will see a poor man shield being picked up by Bounty Hunter just to help with this Clinkz harass a bit at this bottom lane. Also gives him a slight boost to his damage. And we're going to have to wait and see when Prophet decides to get involved. Prophet's gone for an early buckler, so we're going to be seeing a mech on Prophet. And he is level 6, so he does have that ultimate to help out his team, especially in this top lane if they're going to go looking for some more kills.
Yeah, this will not be the Hand of Midas rush, which we saw the Prophet do the last time around WE had him at the beginning of the series. The Hand of Midas rush didn't work out, so maybe that's why we're seeing this deviation. Also, if you look at WE's lineup, the early buckler will really help with the push. And the pushing is what they want to be doing with Leshrac, Clinkz, as well as Prophet. You want to get a couple of kills and then turn them into towers. The kills are nice. The towers are more important. As we head towards the mid game, if the game is tied up, Tongfu looks to be having the better sort of mid game engagement, and more importantly, they have the Bounty Hunter on their side. Queen of Pain picks up another kill. Hao is on a killing spree after feeding first blood. Only a single point in Edict. Queen of Pain will be okay, and now Hao is level 6. That ultimate is going to hurt and hurt badly. Leshrac, Earthshaker, Crystal Maiden, all of them are just so damn squishy.
Yeah, and this is just not just the Queen of Pain. You've got a Bounty Hunter as well to sort of pick heroes off. You've got a Lich ulti. You've got the Sand King who can stun multiple targets. Just such a great lineup to punish these kind of heroes. ES is going to have to be so well positioned with those fissures. And Bounty Hunter can always be looking to scout him out, which is why at the top lane, the Radiant team do have another Sentry Ward, just almost anticipating Bounty Hunter to come help. Although Sancheng hasn't really left this bottom lane. Lich getting close to level 6. That's another spell which is just going to tear apart some of these heroes very, very soon. As Clinkz is going to find himself some creeps to start death packing. He is level 6, does have the death pack up, maybe going for that soaring. He does have the one Sage's Mask, or maybe just rushing the Orchard without getting a soaring at all. Either way, right now, Tongfu looking pretty damn good here. Invoker going for the Tornado EMP build, and that's going to give them a strong mid-game once he does get around the level 10 mark.
Yeah, that'll be the main initiation for Tongfu, who are otherwise a bit lacking. They have Sand King, but this is a support Sand King. He's a little bit under-leveled. Big engagement down low. Are they actually going to be able to pick anyone off, though? No, look at the nice position by the Switch. Prophet TP as well. Do they have detection? The Dust looks like Sanction will be going down. He's out of tangles. There's the Lich ultimate, but a great split. The Fissure, the Prophet ultimate. Awoke will go down, or will he? One more right click. That's going to do it. They even forced a Hal TP, and he could just do nothing but watch. WE, that was a perfectly orchestrated gank. Lich was very far back, but in the end he did get picked off, and that's the power of that Prophet. He waited a long time, but he was really biding his time, but as soon as he hits level 7, he comes in, sets up a huge couple of kills, and nothing really got in return for Tongfu. A bit of farm up top and mid, but really not a big trade. Definitely W coming out ahead there.
And that could have easily been turned around. But Fanti, great play. As soon as that Chain Frost got cast, he got out of the way, made sure it didn't bounce to anything. And as a result, yeah, no turnaround whatsoever. Tongfu, Mew is farming away in this mid lane still, but 40 CS, 20 denies. I mean, he's got some decent last hits, but he's just not looking to sort of kick off and have a massive influence on this game. Queen of Pain is probably the one you've got to worry about a bit more. He's sitting on 22 CS only, though, and that is definitely some very, very average farm. Not quite what we're used to seeing on HoW, based on the last couple of games, as well as just throughout this tournament. Playing heroes like Anti-Mage just so damn well. But Queen of Pain, well, another hero he does play well, but this game there was just so much pressure in that top lane.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Moo actually dies, and then the Dust is popped, but there's another kill for Hal. He's farming heroes, not creeps this game, and it seems to be working out okay for him. He's opted for a very early Null Talisman. I know you're a big fan of this on Queen of Pain, and especially in a game like this where you're not getting a lot of farm. I hate to see a Queen of Pain go for big items. First of all, because it's very difficult to farm them up. But secondly, an item like a Perseverance, when you're having a slow start, really not going to offer you much. Up top, Chan is going to get caught out. There's a track kill. As I say that, is he actually going to go down? He is. It took a while, though. And Chan, he does have a pair of Arcade Boots. Most importantly, he's level 6. I think they'll be okay with giving up that Leshrac, but they don't want to give up too many more kills, especially with the track gold going the way of Sancheng, who's now hit level 6, going for another cheap item in the Power Treads. Tongfu be very cost effective here, just going for cheap stats, cheap items that are easy to build up, don't require too much gold to secure those.
Yeah, and we are going to see World Elite just, I mean, they're split farming their jungle at the moment. They've got Clinkz farming in one place, Prophet farming in another. They're really sort of being as efficient as possible with this, although they aren't. Part of it's coming down to just being too scared to farm in those lanes against heroes like the Bounty Hunter, as well as that Queen of Pain. As you mentioned, Hao is just farming heroes left, right, and center. He's only level 8 at this point and a bit under farm, so he's not going to have the best item progression, at least not for a while, as he will need to find somewhere to get some farm up. There is going to be a smoke bolt for the Dire team, so we'll see if they can find an opening to sort of get some more kills. They need to get some tower gold at the moment, because that's the big difference. That's what they're going to need to sort of shut down this Clinkz farm and really get some momentum going their ways, is to start taking towers. As, I mean, look at this Clinkz. I mean, Clinkz is farming well. He's getting close to his second Oblivion Staff, and that's going to be a very fast Orchid at this rate.
Yeah, that if he's able to get that Orchid up, I mean, look for Lao as well as this Prophet to be best friends, setting up ganks around the map. And if they're able to get those ganks with the early mechanism, even just the Buckler right now, that's going to give them so much pushing potential, especially if you throw an Edict on top of that. Speaking of that Edict, it's still only a level 1 Edict, but Edict is one of these spells that even a single point is quite effective. It does so much damage. He's actually going for Lightning Max. It gives them a bit more anti-push, and it's a bit safer for Leshrac to go this route because he doesn't have to stand in the middle of the fight. He can stay back, spam that spell. On the top lane, just keeping the lane pushed out because he's spamming it, which is giving a decent amount of farm to Sand King. He's picked up a Bracer as well as a Smoke and a Magic Wand. More importantly, he's level 6. They do have an Epicenter online. Really want to get that level 4 Burrow Strike, but here we go. That Smoke Gang from Tongfu is coming. They're wandering a long way around. Maybe they're going to head all the way down to go for that Clinkz, or maybe they're going to circle around mid. Either way, look at the wards being placed by Tongfu. They really want to make sure that they can get up the hill without being caught out. They want the smoke to pop at the correct moment here. Chain Frost back up as well. This is a big opportunity for Tongfu to get some much-needed kills.
And there's a CM there as well, so if they can get this Clinks, they can follow it up with this CM kill, although CM will do some shielding here by the looks of things. And here we go, CM looking for this Queen of Pain kill. Frostbite with the Searing Arrows, How gonna blink just in time, but there's a Prophet ultimate. Finishing off the kill. Lich ulti gonna not really bounce anything at all, and they do dust up the Clinks. It looks like Clinks in trouble. Gets Tornado. Is there a cold snap or any slow stun coming? Sanking as a Burrow Strike is gonna latch on, and that is a dead Clinks. Nice trade, but they would have definitely liked to not have their Queen of Pain going down. The Prophet ultimate bouncing in at just the right time.
And here we go, the counter pressure on mid lane, but immediate rotation. This Observer Ward is spotting out that gank, and WE will back off. I think it's a trade Tong Fu will make. It wasn't the best trade. They also didn't get any track gold off of that. Bounty Hunter's getting some farm time while that's going on, but crucially they killed the Clinks. They had to slow down that Orchid. In fact, he was just about to complete it. 2 Oblivion staffs as well as the Orchid recipe. Just only 500 gold away or so. And also, like you mentioned, killing off House, so important. We've had a couple of ganks, we've had a couple of engagements. Right now, it looks like the gold graph is favoring the Dire by just a touch. Not a big discrepancy at all. But if you're able to keep the pace or even get ahead when you have a bounty hunter in your team, he's always the X factor. He's the comeback opportunity. The comeback built into one here, just with that single skill track. They haven't lost any of their outer towers yet, and that's a crucial thing. In fact, all of the outer towers are very healthy. Against a Prophet, a Clinks, and a Leshrac, this is some remarkably good defense being showed off here by Tong Fu. Once we hit the mid game, they have that ability to turtle up. Between the EMP Tornado, the Sand King with his Epicenter and Burrow Strike, the Queen of Pain ulti, even the Lich has a decent amount of nuking power. It's going to be very difficult for WE to bring down towers without getting kills. And speaking of kills, they want to get one now. They're all smoked up, heading towards the top lane. How is the target?
Yeah, that's a hero that they are dead set on shutting down. Killing him just recently at bottom lane. They're going to look for another kill on him at top, and it looks like they should be able to get it. No Orchid up as of yet, but a Fissure followed by a Frostbite. Plenty of damage. Not going to see any opportunity for any TP support. And they're going to get a tier 1 tower of this as well. So that's a smart gank. They get the kill and then right away get a tier 1 tower. They can even keep pushing on. They can go for a tier 2 tower as well if they really want to here. Although it looks like they want to back off. Clinks has an Orchid. The one hero I have to worry about is this Leshrac. Leshrac is very, very under-farmed and very squishy, so that's a hero you need to get those tanking items up.
Well, I like the way that he's building here. He's opted for a Cloak. It's a very cheap item that will help him a lot against the Dire Squad. They're primarily nuke damage. From here, I would like to see either a BKB rush with a quick Ogre X, maybe a Vitality booster or a point booster. Because at the way that this Leshrac is being played, he was off in that off lane. He's not having the most amazing farm. 50 CS, 15 minutes in, 3 CS per minute. That's decent, maybe a little bit below average for a player of Chan's caliber. So you might as well go for the cheap items that you can afford. As I say, that looks like Clinks got caught out. Not sure how they spotted him. Do they have a gem?
He was dusted up, so I imagine he just was in the jungle trying to death pack a creep.
Yeah,
he did use the death pack on that far right camp and then just got spotted out, dusted, and they just chased him on down. Tornado from long range took him out. So, I mean, really just caught a bit out of position. And that's the kind of kill World Elite cannot afford to give up at this stage of the game.
Oh, Sang Shane, he's in Viz bottom. Maybe wants to, oh, he's actually going to be revealed. Do they have any Sentry Wards? They do. Frostbite in place, but the support is not in range. If they were just a bit closer, that could have been a much-needed kill in Sang Shane. He's picked up a Drum of a Dirt, so he's getting very tanky. This is the traditional way to build Bounty Hunter, especially for the Chinese. And oh, there we go. Haste run for Sang Shane. He really wants to kill things now. Kabu headed down bottom. He's got a smoke. Are we going to see any rotation? How is busy pressuring the top lane? No real item progression on him. Sitting about 700 gold. He has died the most. And here comes Clinks. Maybe we'll see a Prophet TPN. Fancy is going to TPN to start this one off. Actually, cancel it, but he's inside of a ward. Will Hal blink away? No, there's the Orchid. It looks like Hal will be going down. The Sprout to hold him in place, and they're going to get another kill on Hal. This may be the worst start I've ever seen for Hal in any game in this tournament. He's really struggling. Prophet ult actually was, I guess that just bounced through for a bit of pushing power. For a second there, I thought that got another kill, but no, it was just Queen of Pain.
Bottom lane. Sanking, Burrow Strikes in, hits 2 once again. The CM and the ES both getting hit by these Burrow Strikes. Prophet going to try TP in. Lich drops an ulti, and they are going to be able to get this. Well, it looks like they should get this Earthshaker. They're not actually chasing him because he's got no TP. Invoker, smart decision, goes to the track. They can get the ES later. He cannot TP out. It's on cooldown, and Sanching will get that kill with the Shuriken. A lot of track gold going the Dire's way, and that's always going to be a worry. Sure, the Queen of Pain not doing all that well, but the rest of the heroes, with these kills, with this track gold, are going to be looking pretty farmed going into the mid-game.
Yeah, as we approach the mid-game, has there been any item progression on the solo mid-Prophet? He's picked up a mechanism, 1,600 gold. I'm curious to see where will he go from here. Will it be a very fast Hex Rush? Will we see something like a Necrobook 3, going for a bunch of pushing in the mid-game. It looks like Leshrac has not picked anything else up. They don't really have anyone who's building towards a Hood of Defiance at this point, let alone a pipe. And that's something you really want to have against this Dire squad, is that pipe. They have so much nuke damage, so much burst. If you don't have a pipe, especially with these squishy heroes, you can easily be brought down before you're able even to pop that mech, and the mech alone just not going to be enough. Although Hao has died a bunch, he is still level 10. He's getting close to that level 2 ulti. Invoker, being played by Moo is 2-1-2, but you mentioned the Sand Kid. He's really the star so far.
Here we go.
1-0-9.
Gem on Bounty Hunter.
Oh.
Gem and Bounty Hunter, and they spot out the Clinks. He's not going to be able to get on. His teammates are too far off, and it looks like Clinks will get away, but this Gem, they really want to prevent this Clinks from doing too much. And this is the time to do it. He's got the Orchid, but he's still damn squishy. Until he gets that BKB, you can easily keep Clinks under control, but once he gets that BKB, then it gets hard, even with the Gem.
Yeah, that Gem is going to be a fantastic pickup. And if you look at Tongfu, their initiation range is actually quite large. First of all, because Bounty Hunter can show up as invis, so it's not like he can be spotted out and dodged in most cases. You can't put sentry wards everywhere. You can't carry a gem on any of these squishy supports. Maybe Clinks could carry a gem of his own. But, oh, on the middle lane, there's the Orchid. Moo is going to go down. Even with the Force Staff, just not enough. And Lao gets an important kill. He's got the Ogre Club. So, yeah, the BKB is not there, but he's getting close. Kabu on the bottom lane. Burrow Strike Epicenter. Will Icy be able to hold him in place? Not in time, but it might be enough to escape. Only a couple of pulses. That was a completely wasted Epicenter. Kabu has played so well this game. 1-0-9, but there he fails a bit. Not able to secure the kill. Also, a while away from having that Blink Dagger, so it's really going to be up to the Invoker or the Bounty Hunter to initiate for the team. Primarily, that EMP Tornado is going to be the way they start off these fights.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but Sand King's one of those heroes where as soon as he finds a lane to farm, like currently he's at this bottom lane alone, he can get that Blink Dagger up in 2 or 3 minutes' time. And I mean, Tongfu, they're in no rush. They can just keep on sort of trading kills here and there, getting that track gold going their way, and just getting some farm up on heroes like this Queen of Pain as well. Queen of Pain, speaking of kills, there we go. Track and an ulti on the Prophet, but Prophet, the mech keeps him alive. And Queen of Pain going down to the Clinks with an Orchid. Great play from Lua. The captain is really making things happen, getting close to that BKB as well.
Yeah, we had some questions coming into this game. Is this the right change to make? Should they be putting that Lao, who normally plays, or Lu, the player who normally is on one of the hard support roles for W, is he going to be able to handle the hard carry role? Are the other players going to be able to adjust to the new roles? But so far it really seems to be working out, and that's why you rush a mechanism on a hero like Prophet in a game like this against so many burst damage chasing heroes. That mech kept him alive, completely turned the tides of that fight, and Prophet is gone for yet another utility item with that Force Staff. A great pickup against the chasing lineup that Tongfu has. Force Staff will help keep everyone safe. Point booster on Leshrac, he's starting to tank up, but even with that point booster, he is still very squishy, and he continues to be an area of concern. Another area of concern is GG, who, unlike Sand King, as far as support initiator style heroes go, Earthshaker has a much harder time farming. He's also a lot easier to bring down. He doesn't have the mobility of Burrow Strike or the escape mechanism of that Sandstorm. So where is he going to find the levels? Where is he going to find the farm? We'll have to see. But for now, he's only at level 6 compared to Kabu up at level 10.
Yeah, so even if he does get up some gold just from kills as well as towers, he's going to be very underleveled, not going to be a level 2 ulti. By the time this Sand King has his blink, it's going to be a level... Excuse me, hiccups. It's going to be a level 2 ultimate, and that's going to be doing a lot of damage to this Radiant team if he can get that one from good position. But they've got the Clinks. Clinks is a great hero to scout that out, and especially with the BKB, you can pressure... Well, you can just straight up kill the Sand King. I mean, just start right-clicking away with the Orchid. He cannot use any of his escape mechanisms, and the teammates cannot help him out if you do have that BKB.
Clinks, he's got a Death Pact to creep, and Clinks is actually a very tanky hero at this stage of the game as long as he has Death Pact up. Look at him right now, 1750 health. I don't know if that's enough to survive the full burst of Tongfu. It's probably not, but it's pretty close, and especially if they can't get every single spell, you'll be just fine. Tornado is actually going to hit Clinks. It does not remove... Oh, but he is spotted out by that gem. Lao did not check the enemy items closely enough. Chain Frost, what a Chain Frost! Bouncing wildly in all these supports, in so much trouble. Child with the Pulse Nova, looking to lock down Hao, but without Clinks, they just don't have the chasing power. 2 kills. Looks like Fancy might be in some trouble for now. He's staying alive. Last hit on the tower. It is denied by Leshrac. Awoke maybe going to go down. There's the Force Staff, as well as the Sprout. Down goes Awoke, but Hao coming back in. He did not have enough. He wants some more. Blink it. He gets fissured up. Will Fancy go down? No! Fancy lives! Oh. He lives! What a play. And Hao just, he's so used to having that better start. If he had just a couple more items, a few extra points of HP, he would have lived there.
I can't believe he blinked into that one as well. He could have just gone up and walked towards, so he wasn't in the middle of 3 heroes. I mean, he blinked right into that ES stun when he could have just sort of tried to kite the Prophet to death, but oh man, he just really overestimated how much damage he can do there, and he really needs to get that BKB. I mean, that just goes to show how ineffective he's being at this point. But the good news is, Karbu is about to have that Blink Dagger up, and that just goes to show you get your farming boots on, and even in sort of secondary support like a Sankey can get some items up, and really Tongfu right now prioritizing this Sanking Blink even over the Queen of Pain BKB, as we will be seeing probably the Bounty Hunter transitioning into a BKB of his own. He's got the Drum of Endurance with the gem. I think BKB will be the next go-to item.
Yeah, Kabu's already been hitting 2-hero Burrow Strikes all game long, and that's without a Blink Dagger. So with a Blink Dagger, with the Arcane Boots for that extra bit of movement speed, it's going to be very scary. And it's not only about the Burrow Strikes. Of course, you would love to see those big epicenters from Sand King if you're Tongfu, but they really don't need it. They have enough damage without the epicenter, especially because there's no pipe up on the Radiant side. There's no BKBs up just yet. For the moment, all he needs to do is get those Burrow Strikes on 1 or 2 heroes, ideally even more than that, but he gives them such initiation range with the Blink Dagger, as well as you having the Queen of Pain, Invoker, and Bounty Hunter as your triumvirate of heroes that can chase down effectively. So with that initiation, you won't have to see Invoker in the front lines anymore. And speaking of that Invoker, Tornado Star, Crystalmady getting caught out. We saw WE do this so well against Aeon, picking off those supports, but this time they are the ones that are getting picked off, and the immediate D-ward. This gem is really paying off for Tongfu.
Oh yeah, you can just see what they're intent on doing here, making sure that they cannot be caught out by a surprise. Even with BKB coming soon on this Clinkz, this gem is still going to come in handy for them, as Clinkz, once again, Queen of Pain going down. This Clinkz combo is just so damn strong. I mean, it's basically, even on heroes like this Queen of Pain, you're guaranteed a kill if Prophet comes in with a Sprout to sort of prevent Queen of Pain from walking away. Combine that with the silence, there's no blink away, and it's a free kill every time. But Tongfu, trading well, will get this T1 mid tower, as it does go to the Invoker that one.
Yeah, I said it earlier in the game that they are best friends if you can get the fast Orchid up. And Lau, he died once or twice when maybe he shouldn't have, but still, he got the Orchid around 15 minutes. He has been a real great contributor for the squad. If you look at him now, 6-3-3. He's died a couple of times, but he's been involved in 9 of 13 kills. Meanwhile, the Prophet, 3-0-7. He's been involved in 10 of 13. Meanwhile, the supporting cast are really the ones who are struggling, whereas for for Tongfu, it seems to be a lot more balanced. The only hero that's really been struggling is Hal, but I mean, even at this stage of the game, even with this slow of a start, Track Gold, a couple of fights go his way, and he'll have that BKB, and from there, it will be much more difficult for WE to burst him down, because right now, the way they're getting him is that silence on the Orchid. As soon as the BKB is up, that will not be a reliable way to lock him down.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And here we go. Looks like Tongfu, they just want to go flying in at bottom lane. Look for that engagement. ES, well positioned. Could hit a fissure on multiple heroes here. The Radiant, though, they're outnumbered. Leshrac currently was smoked up. Actually got revealed by the looks of things. And there goes the first track. They see the CM. TP support coming in. It's going to be the Clinkz with the BKB. And that's something that is not going to be easy for Tongfu to fight. But they're going to get vision of that soon. Tornado EMP not landing. The EMP does actually hit the Crystal Maiden, as the tower will go down. And here we go. ES coming in from the side. Big ulti, but not really. Does no damage whatsoever. The mech getting popped, negating any damage it did. And ES was just trapped in that side shop, and there was no backup coming, as the initiation was not quite how they would like to plan that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was worried about them just going to check the side shop and getting caught out, if he just got impatient, if there was some sort of miscommunication, but he went in completely on his own and essentially just fed a kill to Tongfu here. Lau has the BKB picked up, and at this point, he is going to be very difficult to kill unless they can get off that initial stun. And he's going for Hal here. Oh, he's got the silence to start. Actually, maybe you want to go for the courier instead. He does force 2 TPs. It's a pretty successful gank, even if all you do is force TPs, because that's about the amount of gold you would get from the kill. It's not as good as a kill, but it's a start. Lau is going to wisely back off, and this is the power of a Clinkz as well as a Prophet at this stage of the game. Even when they're not getting kills, that constant threat of a gank, the constant threat of the +1, either from the Invis Clinkz or from the Prophet with his global teleport, it forces heroes to play very defensively, keeps them on the back foot, and Tongfu is a team that loves to be on the offensive. I feel like the Prophet and the Clinkz are keeping them in this game single-handedly, but, and this is a big but, they can't do it forever. At some point, they're going to need that Leshrac with the BKB. They're going to need maybe a pipe up as well, and ideally the Blink Dagger on the ES, who continues to struggle, still so far away from it.
And they can't just keep relying on pickoffs on Hal. For one thing, he's got that BKB, so he can get out of those orchids if he's desperate. If he's going to go down, he can just pop the BKB and then blink away. Secondly, he's gone for a super tanky survival build. He hasn't got a single point in Shadow Strike. He's gone for pure stats, making him a lot harder to kill and also has a lot more mana to use. But ultimately, it's going to just give more survivability. Same goes for Bounty Hunter. We're seeing a BKB about 1k gold away, and with a couple BKBs, they've got the mech. We're going to have an Urn coming on Lich as well. They're just going for all-around survivability and great utility items with Invoker getting close to a sheep stick. I mean, this Tongfu side, once they get up those few BKBs, it's going to be really hard for World Elite to win a team fight, I feel.
Yeah, especially because Tongfu just have such an advantage in terms of initiation, especially. And Wex Invoker, that Tornado, it's such long range and it's pretty reliable. I mean, yes, you can dodge Tornado, but it's one of the easier initiation spells to hit. And then you combo that with the Sand King, who's already got that maxed out Burrow Strike, has had it for a long time, the level 2 Epicenter. Plus, this is another thing we talked about in the pregame. Tongfu are on the dire side, and so if there is a Roshan engagement, they will generally have the advantage in terms of positioning, either up on this hill to the left of the pit, or more likely on this hill to the right. Either way, they should be able to have the high ground. But it looks like Tongfu, they're going to smoke up, head straight down the bottom lane, and then rotate into the enemy jungle. The question is, what path are they going to take? Are they going to run into any squishy heroes? We saw this in the WE versus Aeon series a couple of times. WE kept themselves in the game with similar smoke ganks. Bounty Hunter leading the way here. Are WE going to be caught out? Are they going to be in the correct position? We're about to find out. It's a pretty tense moment here if you're a WE fan, because if they lose a couple of heroes, Tongfu will easily get an Aegis, maybe it's burn down a tier 2 tower, and suddenly it will be a dramatic swing in Tongfu's favor.
Yeah, and World Elite going to go for a smoke gank of their own. We'll see. It looks like they're pretty intent on maybe checking out that Roshan, making sure Tongfu aren't there. Tongfu themselves are somewhat reluctant to do this. Prophet's the only one visible on the map, and that's here who can TP at any time. There we go. They find Queen of Pain, insta BKB, gets away. Lich ulti. Queen of Pain does have an ulti if they want to use it. Looks like Queen of Pain will take out this ES. Meanwhile, Queen of Pain getting the first kill. Going to get the CM as well. Double kill there. Clinks aren't able to do anything except watch. And we're going to see Leshrac taken out as well. 3 kills for Tongfu. Queen of Pain in the front lines with a BKB means that Tongfu, essentially, they can't really lose the fight because it's always going to be Queen of Pain who takes that first disable, takes the Orchid, and then just pops a BKB and easily survives and still doing so much damage. And Prophet just could not even get in and get involved.
Yeah, it really goes back to the item build that the skill build that Halib went for, as well as the item build. The combination of the two, going for stats early, it's a very unorthodox build. Normally we'll see Queen of Pain take up a single point Shadow Strike, if not 2, by the level 2, level 3 mark. But in this case, Halib's completely skipped the spell, and it's a nice tool in Queen of Pain's arsenal, but this stage of the game, you really don't need Shadow Strike, especially because you already have the chasing power of that Bounty Hunter with Track, buffing up your movement speed, as well as Blink to work with. And you're also against a very immobile lineup. Earthshaker in a lot of trouble. He will be brought down. Sprout, but there's the power of that Force Staff, keeping the Invoker safe. Blink away. They're not going to get Roshan for the moment, so that's an important hold for WE. But the question is, can they actually take it for themselves? It's going to be very difficult. Kabu perched on the high ground here. They have no vision. This is where that gem that Tongfu loves to go for is going to be so handy. Prophet is scouting out the pit, but they're really not going to be able to see when Tongfu is looking to go and where they're positioned without being able to place a ward, which for the moment they have not been able to do so, and Tongfu is not going to let them get that vision up. Yeah, I love the Queen of Pain's build, just to sort of go back to that point again. I mean, the survivability, not only the stats, but also the BKB rush. A lot of players like to go for Aghanim's Hex. Sometimes we even see Linken's out of the Southeast Asians. That's just not the correct play in this situation.
Yeah, and with this, they're going to go for Roshan. Bounty Hunter going to get scouted out. Does have that BKB. They're going to have to lead it off with a Burrow Strike if they do want to lock him down. And even then, it's not going to be easy. Tornado hitting 3. Down goes the Lich ulti with a Burrow Strike. Sanking goes Silence. Will go down to the Clinks. Nice decision by Clinks, not going for one of those heroes with BKB. And Leshrac with a BKB of his own doing a lot of damage. Buyback from Sanking. Hal needs to blink out. He's getting taken down very, very low. And it looks like we will see the end of that little trade there. And with Sanking back, it's going to have to be World Elite who play this very, very cautiously. Clinks going into the Roshan pit. They haven't actually noticed. If Clinks can finish off Roshan while the rest of his team delay, it could be a good trade. It looks like Leshrac will go down, though. Lich going to get that kill. If with 1 or 2 more right clicks, no, it's going to go to the Invoker. And now Clinks, BKB on cooldown. They've got vision of him with the track. Invoker gets a double kill. Sanshan giving his team so much gold with that track. And Tongfu once again coming out on top thanks to that buyback from Sanking.
What a buyback by Kabu, and not just the buyback, but another 2-hero Burrow Strike. He hasn't even used Epicenter. They are winning this fight without an Epicenter. And that is just how strong a 2 or 3 hero Burst Strike is compared to that Earthshaker. He's had a couple of decent fissures, but especially against all these BKBs, all the mobility of Tong Fu, he just hasn't had the same dive, the same impact, and also it's just the nature of the hero. Sandcade is more mobile, especially with the blink, and more importantly, that fissure has a very long cooldown, 15-second duration. It's so hard to get multiple ones off in the fight compared to the Burst Strike with that 11-second duration. Those 4 seconds make a world of difference. But this it's also the dire advantage. You know, you buy back, you could be right at the Roshan pit. Because Tong Fu have held onto those tier 2 towers, they have multiple ways to access that pit, and they get the Aegis. I actually didn't see who it went on to. Okay, it's Hao, and this is the track gold. Hao had a horrible game. He was like 5-7. It's probably the most Hao has died this entire tournament, if not in his entire Dota 2 career. And it just didn't matter. It really didn't. He's still got a lot of gold. He's now sitting on Mystic Staff. One of the more farmed heroes on the map. 368 gold per minute. In fact, out-farming the entire WE squad. That is just outrageous. That's outrageous.
Yeah, it really... It's the beauty of the Bounty Hunter pick, and that's why, I mean, I think you mentioned it before any of these games started. You hope to see more Bounty Hunter, and we've got it here in Game 3, and it's a hero I think is undefeated so far in this qualifier. I don't think we've had a game where Bounty Hunter has lost. It's been picked maybe 3-4 times, maybe a couple more than that, but it's been a hero with a very good winning rate. That and the Beastmaster have been, for me, the two heroes that have just sort of not lost many games and really been, excuse me, convincing picks when they have been the go-to for some of these teams.
Yeah, you know, it's not just the pick itself. You have to know how to use the hero. You have to know how to build the hero. And Tong Fu, like eHome, like a lot of other Chinese teams, they really take advantage. And hey, the Lich really helped out the Bounty Hunter as well. Ultimately, it didn't hurt. Oh, Kabu, he wanted to go for another initiation there. The laning situation also worked out pretty well for Tong Fu with that Bounty Hunter because it was a Lich as well as Bounty Hunter up against the solo Clinks, and you talked about the subtle things they did in the laning stage. That really helped out. The Lich getting the safe farm, not setting himself up too aggressively, trying to go for some harassment where the Prophet could punish him with the TP, and instead sitting back, getting some farm in the lane, getting some levels in the lane, letting Bounty Hunter fight it out for those neutral creeps. It's just all those subtle little things that Tong Fu is doing which make the Bounty Hunter so effective. And here he is with a BKB, a second initiator on a team that suddenly has, I want to say it's 4. You got a Hex, a Wex Invoker, a Hex Wex Invoker, who's got that Tornado to work with, the BKB on the Queen of Pain as well as the Aegis, so Sheik has no problems going in. The Blink Dagger on the Sandcade, the Bounty Hunter being a decent frontline tag who continues to de-ward. This is not simply a carry Bounty Hunter, this is a semi-support Bounty Hunter because of this gem. Doing a great job maintaining map control, and if you look at WE, they had very little initiation. It's only the Clinks who can really charge in, maybe the Leshrac, but pretty easy for both of those heroes to be kited by this Tong Fu lineup.
Oh yeah. I mean, one Sand King stun on this Leshrac, if it's used before there's a BKB pop, it's a dead Sand. It's a dead Leshrac. Even if Leshrac maybe won't die during the stun, but you'll be down to about 200, 300 HP, and the physical damage will just finish you off. So there's just nothing. Leshrac cannot lead the way unless you're really preemptive with that BKB, which is never going to be a winning strategy for World Elite. They've just got to look for continue with this split push. I mean, Prophet did manage to get that tier 2 bottom tower taken down. It did get denied, but it's another tower down. It's a bit more pressure that World Elite can apply to the opposing team with that split push whenever Tong Fu go. But I think Tong Fu, I mean, they're happy. If they don't have to end the game in the next 5 minutes. If it takes them 20 minutes to win this game, get more farmed and deal with this Prophet split pushing, they don't really care. They just want to make sure they win this game in the safest way possible. At the same time, the safest way possible is not sitting back. They're going to keep being aggressive.
Yeah, if that's what they need to do, that's what they will do. Sansheng with the DD picked up, as well as this gem. He can just walk around anywhere on the map and has no fear of being detected. He also has a good amount of vision because at the moment, 3 heroes on WE's part are grouped up in the middle lane. This just shows you how much WE's on the back foot, even though they still have their outer tier 2 towers without the wards. And I've complimented WE a lot on their warding game. They're one of the stronger teams, one of the strongest teams I've seen, even for a Chinese team, in terms of placing wards in the correct spots, constantly maintaining vision on the map. But Tong Fu is one-upping them with this Bounty Hunter with the gem. Without the vision, even the Clinks with the BKB, he can be brought down pretty quickly or forced to waste a BKB charge. If they're able to initiate with the stun, he will go down. The warding game for Tong Fu, they're beating WE at their own game. This is one of WE's very strongest attributes as a team. And here they come. It looks like we have a Hex up on the Queen of Pain as well as move. Double Hex. There's your Tornado. Only hitting the Earthshaker, but they could go in if they want to. Queen of Pain getting stunned by the Fissure just in time. She will actually blink out. They're just going to siege down the tower. I think they could go high ground now if they want. Earthshaker, no Blink Dagger. Pretty decent Turtley lineup on WE, but not otherworldly. there's no crazy amount of counter initiation to go work off. It's mainly going to come down to that Earthshaker. But they're going to back it off. They're going to play safe. And when you're on the verge of winning a Game 3, when you're on the verge of going to the International, it's not only about securing the win and playing it safe. It's also about maybe having a little bit of a little bit of fun, enjoying the moment. But how is in danger of getting picked off? No, the Aegis is popped. Fancy and loud. They continue to deliver here in the late game.
And they made him waste the BKB charge as well. I mean, he popped the BKB, but the blink was on cooldown. And now, though, it is the hunt. The hunt is on. They're looking for this Clinkz. Clinkz going to go for a death back here, and Bounty Hunter going to scout him out here. They've got the gem. He's going to get tracked probably. He'll try to get a hit off first. Now, there's your track. And now the chase is on. There's your Sheepstick, and that is a dead Clinkz. Even with a BKB, he could be in a lot of trouble. Prophet going to TP in. It looks like they want to try fight this. Clinkz going to right-click his way out of trouble. Not going to win this battle, though. There's more backup coming. How is there? Hal says, you're not going to take my Aegis without a fight, and now they're going to lose the ES as well. Lich ulti. It's going to bounce. Leshrac pops a BKB, but that is a dead Nature's Prophet. And Leshrac, they're going to track him. They're going to chase him down. The track gold will keep on accumulating, and there's a 4th kill going to the Dire team. Only the little Crystal Maiden does survive.
Oh, the courier dies, so that's a saving grace for WE, but it's a very small consolation prize. They just got wiped. I mean, Crystal Maiden not dying, who cares about that? And if she even survived, I didn't catch it, but either way, it's, the Icy is irrelevant at this point of the game. He's just a single nuke, and try and hold a hero in place. Tongfu, too much chasing power. Track buffing up the move speed of Hao and Mu, who are already great chasers in their own right, as well as the Blink Dagger on the Sand Cane, and that's the track gold paid off. So big for Tongfu. This is not your Chinese of old. This is not your 2010 Chinese Dota. Icy is going to go down to Hex, the epicenter. He drops. That's still 4 heroes dead. They could look to go for the Rex. GG is being forced back. And Tongfu on the verge of claiming their first set of Rex. But yes, this is...
I gotta say, man. Tongfu are going to Seattle. Tongfu, it looks like they will be the East qualifier winners here. I don't think there's anything World Elite can do at this point. I don't know about you, man, but this looks like Tongfu are going to be the team.
This would be the best comeback in the history of Dota if somehow World Elite pull it out. I'm just going to say that right now. They don't really have the team fight. They're so far behind in terms of gold. They're on the Radiance. They don't even have the Dire advantage to work with. And most of the games that World Elite have won this tournament have been on that Dire side. They don't have the items they need either. I mean, Leshrac with BKB is just not enough at this point. Earthshaker, no Blink Dagger. Yeah, I think you're right. This is going to be Tongfu going. I mean, with that said, there's no racks down, but it's a big advantage for Tongfu. They're on the cusp, on the brink, on the precipice. Whatever your favorite word is, they are just so damn close to going to Seattle. And if they do make it, I can't think of a more deserving team. They've worked really hard for this, and they've performed exceptionally well this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, even back in Dota 1, in the Panda days, they were just one of the top teams. They were right under the top, I mean, right under ING, DK. I mean, they were just really well known, really popular, and just great performances. Showing it here in Dota 2 as well. And I mean, with the current situation, this game, I mean, just look at how farm their support heroes are. That's something that they do so well. World Elite do this as well. The Chinese teams in general, this is something that you really have to admire. They get their farm on their support heroes. Their support heroes never get left behind. This Lich has Urn, 4-staff, and Mech. Sand King has Arcane Boots, Blink Dagger, 4-staff, and an Ogre Club. I mean, all these Dire heroes are approaching 100 plus CS. It's only the Lich and the Bounty Hunter, in fact, who has just under 100 CS. This is literally a pure utility or support for Bounty Hunter, however you want to call it. I mean, he's got the BKB. He's even got a Vlad's now for the additional aura. And they're just not worried about him doing any DPS. It's not your sort of pub Bounty Hunter where you rush the battlefield and do as much damage as possible, get the Desolator afterwards. It's all about just staying alive, spamming the track gold, and the track movement speed. I'd say the movement speed is just as important. And there's another track, some more gold going to the Dire team. They get the track off just before the ES goes down. And with that, we're going to see this push coming in for the middle racks. Prophet just going for a counter push. World Elite doing anything they can just to stall and just to sort of force Tongfu away.
Look at Mu. He's got so many levels that he's now got 4 points in Quas as well as Exhort, so double Forge Spirit's going to be assisting here. Looks... Oh, Crystal Maiden just gets melted. At this point, she's like 1 or 2 nukes away from death, and at this stage of the game, you just can't afford that. They're going to get the racks. They could easily look to rotate to the bottom lane. In fact, they're going to do that right now. Tongfu are going to Seattle, man. I'm excited. I mean, I was rooting for some of the other Southeast Asia teams, but nobody is at the level that Tongfu is in this qualifier. They're just a step above, even a couple of steps beyond even a team of World Elite caliber. They're so versatile. Yeah, you talked about getting the supports farmed. They can switch roles at will. Hal can play that, he can play the ganker if he needs to. Moo can be a carry. They've done that in the past. They're not afraid to pick a hero like Lich, who has fallen out of favor. They can run the jungler and the Chen Enchantress if they want to. They can go for all gank. They can run the hard carry with the Morphblade, the anti-mage. They can do pretty much just about anything you can imagine in Dota. And as a result, the more versatile team is winning. I feel it's only fair that Tongfu are going to advance. World Elite gave it their all. Let's give them a big round of applause, a lot of credit, but they just didn't have what it took. They didn't have it at the end. Tongfu was just too good.
Oh, and I'd say as a Dota fan, I would, as a pure Dota fan, Tongfu were the team I wanted to win. They have had just some of the best players and been really exciting to watch. I mean, I had like you, I had my personal fan favorites, but ultimately, the most deserving team won it. And Tongfu are going to be going to Seattle. There's your GG call. World Elite, they've came so far. Second place, you get nothing for it, and that is the sad state of this qualifier. It's just absolutely devastating and heart-wrenching for some of these teams. As it does, a bit of a shout-out coming from some of the Tongfu players. Awoke saying, Tongfu I won Zoo, something else in Chinese. And this is going to be Tongfu just coming out. First place, man. I'm loving it. Even though it was a quick 3-0, that was just something amazing to watch and be a part of.
Yeah, guys, if you missed any of these games, all the VODs will be available on this Twitch channel as well as on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/LDDota. I definitely recommend checking out Game 1. That was really a game for the history books of Dota. I mean, Tongfu, that was one of the games where I really thought WE was going to win, but Tongfu pulled through a very difficult late game against a bunch of very farmed semi-carries, including a near-max Morphblade, and from there it was just all Tongfu all the way. That's your result. This is one of the 15th out of the 16 teams. We only have one qualifier to be decided. Tongfu are going to Seattle. They're going to the International. They deserve all your support. They're a fantastic team. I'll be rooting for them. I've become a big fan of them over the course of this tournament. Hao, Moo, Sangchain, Awoke, and Kabu. I'm sure they're celebrating right now over in China. They've earned